A car is one of the best places to have serious conversation because it's
I thought you were about to say something else.
No.
I really thought that was headed
The car is the best place to unzip your pants. No, I'm kidding. No.
My eyes went... What's up, everybody? It's Katie Austin here, and welcome back to Austin AF. I have TKJuicyPolls, a.k.a. Taylor King, in the studio today. Hi.
Hi, Katie. Thank you so much for having me. I love Katie, so I'm so excited to be here and ham it up with her.
Well, I wanted you on my podcast first up for a year now, but at the same time, we had so much fun on your podcast.
I know.
So I was like, girl, you gotta come on mine.
I know. We had to do a little swappy swap, so definitely go check it out. It's called Making Moves.
Yes.
But we also ran into each other at the Revolve party, and I was like,
oh my God,
Katie,
I forgot.
get your perfect boyfriend over here. I'm taking a photo with him.
Wait, I absolutely died over the fact that you called your episode of Making Moves How to Find the Perfect Boyfriend. I'm like, this is too much pressure on me.
No, it was perfect because I was like, you know when you re-listen and you're like, okay, that would be a good title, that would be a good title. And my producer sent me a bunch of options, and that was one of them. And I was like, bitch, I'd click.
Yeah.
Cuss on here? No.
The show is called Austin as
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Absolutely.
I'd be like, bitch, I'd click. Because, I don't know, I thought it was enticing. And so I was like, good one, good one.
Let's actually talk about that, because I feel like your YouTube and your show titles, everything is so enticing. And I feel like that's a really good tip for people who are just starting out in social media. And you probably have a lot of other tips on making moves too, because that's the whole, premise of it is making moves in business. But if you had to give any more of your social media tips, that clickbait title is obviously really important. What else would really reel in the audience?
I think the thumbnail's the most important thing.
Okay.
Because the thumbnail, I don't really read titles. Unless I'm listening to a podcast on audio form, I actually prefer watching them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel like you get a sense of the dynamic between the people and their facial expressions. And I love having a podcast. It's my comfort zone, having one on in the background on my TV, while I'm cleaning or whatever. And I think the thumbnail is what grabs you in on any YouTube video, especially podcast.
Right.
So I try and add little elements from I just had my friend Claudia Saluski on, and she's going to be this massive actress, right? She just got on this movie called I Love My Dad. It's it got picked up by South by Southwest, or it's premiering there. I'm I don't even know the traditional lingo. But she was telling me all about it, and I was like, okay, let me put a little slate in there to because she's, I feel known for being a YouTuber, but since she's getting into the acting world,
right.
I wanted to show the audience that that's what we talk about in the podcast. So I was like, let's add that. Let's add a little juicy, broken heart on Kenzie's when we were talking about breakups. I don't know, stuff that just stands out a little, goes a long way. And I feel thumbnails is what makes people click a video.
And also with a good thumbnail, you kind of question it. You're like, oh, what is that scary face? Yeah. What were they talking about?
You want it to tell a story, and you want it to be able to be okay, I know a little bit of how epic this video will be just from one image. And so sometimes I just did a morning routine. Fun fact. I just did a morning routine, and I was going through my footage, and I was trying to select which photos I wanted to use for the thumbnail because I didn't pose, which I'm not a big poser. Sometimes I'll pose after the fact. And there was I had nothing that I could use. I was fork, this isn't working out. I'm in Photoshop trying to make it look cute. And I was this is shitty. I was Taylor, go the extra mile. So I literally pull out my ring light, pull out the tripod. I put on pajamas, a cute matching set that I honestly don't wear. I put on a little sleep mask on my head, scrunch up my hair. I didn't have makeup on already. And I get in my bed, put some color in the background, and I posed. And I swear that's why that video is doing well.
I actually cannot do that amount of effort. I don't know what's wrong with me, but maybe that's why I'm not big on YouTube, because I cannot put amount of effort in. That's why I love Snapchat that we're talking about, Instagram stories, and because it's so freaking easy. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the same thing with Snapchat, you do need a really good thumbnail at the last slide.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it is all about the visual. Okay, all about the visual as well. And you're growing really fast right now online.
Thank you.
How the hell do you grow so fast? I know it's a really loaded question.
Yeah. I think that a lot of it is consistency, which like is my biggest weakness. Cause like I'm a perfectionist. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. So like I want everything to be perfect until I post it. Whereas like I used to like edit and upload or film and edit an entire video, and it would be like a damn good video, and I would literally like throw it in the dumpster because I would never upload it because I'd be like, I don't like the way my double chin looks in this one clip, and then I would literally not upload it.
So you're a perfectionist.
Yes, I'm a perfectionist.
Got it.
And like I say that lightly, like, but I'm being dead ass. Like, I'm actually psychotic about things. And it's been my biggest weakness. I know this sounds like everyone says this in an interview. They're like, I'm a perfectionist. Like, it's my weakness.
Like, oh, poor you.
But genuinely it is. And like, I'm so big on launch now, adjust later. Like, I heard that on a podcast once. And like, it is so true. Like, just upload the video. Like, for me, a shitty video uploaded is better than no video, because in my eyes it's shitty, but to other people it's not.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's more your authentic, true self, which people actually want to see. They don't want to see some curated feed or curated, highly quality videos all the time.
Yeah.
You could obviously throw those in every once in a while, but they really want to see that raw footage.
Exactly. So I think like consistency is like key. I think also you have to stand out. Like, ever since I started working for Alicia, she was like, bitch, you stand out. And I was like, wait, what? And I think it's just because like I love juicy, I love red, I love sexy, I love flames.
You're very much so yourself.
Yeah, but I also love like a girly, fun, flirty moment. And then I also love like a sporty, like pizza beer. Like,
as you're wearing an LA Dodgers hat. She loves sports.
It's like, so like, I don't know, I try and like hone into who I am. Like the second I was like, I'm from Indiana, I'm from Bumfork, like cornfields. Like as soon as I honed into that, people were like, oh my God, I don't know, it just worked.
Absolutely. Wait, let's talk about that. So you're from Indiana.
Yeah.
What the heck made you decide to move to Los Angeles?
I'm from Bloomington, where IU is.
So cold.
Yeah, it does get cold. Yeah, we get all 4 seasons. It's like honestly the best place in the world, Bloomington, Indiana.
So why'd you move?
Yeah, I moved because I always knew that I would move here. I don't know why. Like I think that I was that girl in school where like Indiana has no like creativity or like entertainment opportunities available. And so like I would like gravitate like straight to Us Weekly, People Magazine, like in Kroger. Like that was the only form of like kind of e-news entertainment like that I could like latch onto, or like books, like fashion. And I just knew I wanted to do something in that world. And yeah, that's kind of what led me to LA. More so because I went to fashion school, and when I visited Parsons and FIT, it was like, your classes are going to be about like color theory and why red is red. And I was like, this is not practical for me because I don't want to be a designer. I was like, I see myself being more like in entertainment and whatever. And just FITM's curriculum was super practical for me.
Interesting. Okay, so you moved out to LA, and how did you meet Alicia? If you guys don't know, TK works for Alicia part-time though, right? Or full-time?
Technically full-time.
Wow.
But I know, but I just asked, I work a little bit less now, but I'm on salary.
Because you do a lot yourself. Like you run a show and your YouTube and your socials yourself, which honestly is a full extra overtime job.
I'm trying to keep up with you, genuinely.
So just shut up. And you actually have a real job working for someone. And I want to know how you guys met, how you came across her, and honestly, that dynamic, because it intrigues me a lot how you guys are so close.
Yeah, it intrigues a lot of people. People are like, wait, you guys are nice to each other?
Like, and like how she has her own show, and then you work for her, and then you have your own show too.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually like so rare in the industry, I feel like, for like a female duo. Like all of our lives, there's been like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, like Peanut Butter and Jelly, like male duos, right? And like think about all like the comedians that have been like a duo, or like actors and things like that. And I feel like there's so many, it's so rare when there's like 2 female duos in a way.
Right.
And I feel like now with podcasting and stuff, it's way more like popular. But Alicia and I found each other through a mutual friend. Her name's Kenzie Elizabeth, which you had on the show.
She's been on the show. I love her.
Every like cool person I've ever met is like literally through Kenzie. I always say that.
I love her.
She's really good at connecting people, and she's just a gem to be around. So we met through Kenzie, and we kind of met Alicia, Kenzie and I met like a few times over coffee or something. And it was because we were like doing our little like manifesting like Bible study. Like it was one of those like things where you meet and you just like gas each other up, like kind of things. And like I didn't really know. I mean, of course I knew of Alicia, but I didn't know her.
Right.
Like I wasn't an active fan.
Follower.
Or like, yeah.
By the way, side note, she has, what, 6 million followers?
I think she has
on YouTube?
On her main channel, it's like 8 or 9 million. And then on her vlog, it's like 3 or 4.
She's like 3 million on Instagram, like crazy.
Yeah, she has like,
numbers.
I don't know, 11, 12 million total. It's something crazy.
Crazy.
I don't even know.
Just a side note.
I should know that. Yeah. She's like,
come on now. Don't you know her analytics too?
I know. She's a beast. Like she is an OG. Yeah. Like she's literally like Reese Witherspoon of YouTube. Like she's been here and she's still going. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anyway, I kind of met through Kenzie. We met like probably 2 or 3 times. She, for some reason, the Lord only knows why she let me sleep on her couch. It was like a Coachella weekend, and all my friends were going, do you remember Doachella? Did you ever do that?
Oh my gosh, the throwback. You just unlocked a memory in my brain.
Wait, did you ever do that?
No, I didn't, but I remember it.
Yes, it was an era, like the Doe girls.
Whoa, oh my gosh, yes, I remember.
People have been making fun of it on TikTok lately. It's kind of funny.
Whatever happened to that?
I don't know. I think it was a little sus.
Definitely.
But I don't know, I wasn't involved. So anyway, the Doachella was going on. All my friends were going with Doachella. And I was like, well, fork me. They won't allow any +1s, or they won't let me go because I would didn't have a following. I was like, I'll take their photos. You know what I mean?
That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Some brands need to just let someone have a +1 if they want them there for social anxiety reasons. I would not go to that type of event without a +1.
I know. It also was funny because literally my entire friend group was going, and then I was just like, so
what the heck?
Where should I stay? It's okay. I get why they would go. But anyway, so then I was desperate. So I randomly reached out to Alicia because I was literally asking everyone. I was desperate. I was like, I just need to sleep on someone's floor. I don't care. I just need to be there.
Yeah.
And so she, believe it or not, I sent her this long text, and I was like, literally no pressure. I know you don't even know me. I think that I didn't even realize how big she was. Otherwise, I would not have texted her that. Genuinely. It was ignorance is sometimes bliss. So I asked her, and for some reason, she's also she's very skeptical of people.
Right.
At first. I'm more of come hang out with me. Yeah, she's more let me get a read on this person a few times. And so for some reason, she was like, yeah, you can stay on the couch. And I knew no one. That's where I met Remy. That's where I met her sister, Ashley. Oh. Ashley's co-host, Taryn. That's where I met everyone. And they let me sleep on the couch. And that's where I kind of really, got to know them. Totally. And then a few months passed, and she randomly hit me up. As I was working at CBS, the network at the time. I was working on soap operas. I thought I was gonna be a producer for Warner Brothers or something.
Oh my gosh.
So funny. So I was working there or interning there / working because I was finishing up my senior year of college, and she randomly hit me up and was like, hey, wanna get coffee? And I think we're gonna talk shit about boys because that's what I do when I get coffee with people. And she randomly at the end was like, yeah, I'm a little, is right after her burnout. I don't know if you remember her iconic.
No.
She burnt out on YouTube from uploading so much, and had an iconic video where she's crying in the thumbnail like this. She's like,
no way.
Yeah, and she went viral in PR. People were like, Alicia, mental health burnout, YouTube.
Yeah,
she's
also probably how many years ago was that? Because it was probably
4.
4. Okay, why do I feel mental health didn't even not become a thing?
No, it did.
It's always been a thing. But I mean for people openly to talk about it and
PR
cry
thing
on camera 4 years ago. I feel nowadays it's very common, but 4 years ago for some reason I feel it wasn't as.
Completely agree. So she did that, and all of a sudden she needed help. Her team was like, bitch, you need help. So she hired an assistant who's my coworker still to this day. And she got the assistant first, but then she was like, I think I really need someone on the creative side. I need more of a producer role. And so that's where I kind of came in.
No way. That's what you do for her?
Yeah,
You're her creative producer?
Yeah, I'm her full-time producer.
Shut up. That is incredible.
I'm executive now.
That's so fun, though. That's so fun.
Oh, my God,
And to do that with someone you love and you gravitate towards, I think is
it's literally the best job in the world. It was crazy. So I have to tell you the story because it's crazy. I started working for her for the first time I went in, because we were getting coffee. She's like, okay, can you kind of come help me film? I'm like, sure, yeah, whatever. I help all my YouTuber friends film. They've never paid me. of course, I'm thinking I'm going to go in, we're going to dilly-dally and like go to Starbucks and then film and then I'll leave, right? This bitch runs a business. She was the first YouTuber I was like, whoa. Yeah, I walk into her like nice ass house, like I was like, whoa, YouTubers make money. Like I had no idea. And so the first video was like this crazy Gucci video. It's like her sister goes and like buys shit for her at Gucci, which like this is when like Gucci was Gucci. Do you know what I mean?
Again, 4 years ago.
So we like go in and I was like, this is crazy. This is such a fun job. Like I'm literally like filming and we're like just have a credit card at Gucci. Like this is crazy, right?
Oh my God.
And we're like filming it and I'm like with her sister. And then at the end of the day, she's like, okay, like is this rate okay? And I'm like, wait, what? Like you're gonna pay me? And she was like, yeah, of course. And it ended up being like double what I had gotten paid like at CBS, like Amazon Studios, like all these places that I was working at, right?
Wow.
So I was like, whoa, YouTubers make money. Again, like I was like so shocked. And then I had done that the next few days. So she would be like, okay, when are you free next? And I'd be like, next Tuesday and then next Sunday. She's like, okay, come in those days. I was like, okay. Crazy. So I went in, same day rate. Like I was like, wow, I'm about to make big.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were doing that. And then after literally like 2 to 3 weeks of that, I'm not kidding you, I was in New York. I was with like Danielle, Carolyn, and Morgan Yates. That kind of crew.
Yes.
And I was with them on like a girly trip, and all of a sudden Alicia texts me, she's like, hey, can you call me? And I'm like, oh God, did I like reveal an editing secret to like someone, whatever? And I was like, guys, I could call like Alicia Marie, hold on. And everyone's like, oh my God, she's calling Alicia Marie, because like she's like an icon in the user space, right? So I pull over to the side, I'm like, hey, like what's up? Are you okay? Like, what's going on? She's like, hey, so sorry, like this is kind of random, but like I just want to offer you like a full-time position on salary. Like the contract's in your email if you want it. Like check it out. Like let me know what you think. Like don't want to bother you, but just like check it out. I was like, what? I had like no idea that was an option, because like if I would have known, like I'm a strategic bitch. Like I would have been like finessing my way into this role.
But I think that's also why she gravitated towards you, because you weren't finessing or like doing something like manipulative to be like, oh, I want her to work for me. Like you were just vibing and you were just helping her because you wanted to organically.
Yeah, and I think she's so smart with the way she approaches. Like she was being strategic as well, because she was like, let me see, because I don't want to like get anyone excited.
She was testing you, absolutely.
She was, which I think is smart.
Yeah, as she should.
So anyway, I ended up accepting it. I started January 1. That was when my official start date.
Or 2009?
2019, I think.
So you have been working here for 3 years now.
Wait, no, 2018. This is my fourth year. This is my fourth
year working for her. Like, good for you. Math. I just love how there's no like competition between you guys. Like there's no animosity. Like you guys both have your own show. You do your own thing. She lets you completely. Yeah. I think that's so freaking cool.
And I have to tell you, like, it is awesome, and I'm like so beyond grateful, but I just have to like explain to people. I feel like people don't realize like my first 2 years working for her, like I was like in the background of things, but it's not like I was on camera like I am now. Like I really had to like, she really had to teach me. And the thing that I think was attractive to her about me is I was teachable. Like I was like,
and you were down.
I was like, I know nothing.
Yeah.
Teach me exactly how you want to look. Teach me the angles you hate about yourself. Like, okay,
it takes years to
you don't want to
that.
show, like for me, now I'm teaching my filmer, I'm like, okay, I don't like when you see my double chin badly. You know what I mean? So I'm like, when you see that, bitch, tell me.
Yeah.
Because like, and Alicia has her things that she would teach me. And there were so many things like about editing and thumbnails and the way she wanted settings on the camera. Like Alicia likes it extra bright in the background, or like things that I just hadn't known before. She really taught me, and like I was so grateful to have a background at FITM where I knew like literally every editing software possible. Yes. Like I literally taught Alicia Photoshop.
It's crazy.
Which is so hilarious.
I also think it's just like a really good piece of advice for anyone, no matter what industry. It takes time. All right, you guys, and a quick ad break right here, because Austin AF is now sponsored. It feels still really cool to say that. So I want to tell you guys about Element, and if you guys have listened to the show before and the past episodes, you guys know how much I love it so much. So I'm actually, if you're watching, I'm putting an Element packet into my water right now. It is the perfect way to stay hydrated. They have so many different amazing flavors. This flavor right here is the lemon habanero. They also have like a chili one. They have a chocolate one. My favorite is the watermelon salts, and it is so freaking good. And why it is so amazing for you, because each packet helps you recharge. Basically, each one has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. So if you guys sweat a lot and you guys need to make sure that you have, that water retention to stay hydrated and make sure your body does not dehydrate. If you guys are drinking alcohol, you're going out to party this weekend, make sure you guys try Element. And if you guys want to try Element, I actually have a pretty sweet deal for y'all. It is a free sample pack. Yes, you heard that right, free. All you guys have to do is pay for shipping too, so no cost to ya. Go to drinklmnt.com/AustinAF. So it's pronounced like element, but it's actually drinklmnt.com/AustinAF for your free sample pack. And now I'm going to chug this right here. Stay hydrated and stay salty, everybody. You guys, I just had to run out of the studio in the middle of the conversation because I had fake eyelashes on right now. The things you do to be cute as a woman.
It's not easy. It's not
I have like an eye irritation right now, and TK was talking, and I was like, I can't concentrate anymore. My eyelash glue is having a blow up.
At least it wasn't like a date. Like, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh my God, could you imagine? I was like, all of a sudden, I just ran out on TK while she was talking. Because I was like, I'm in so much pain. But eyelash glue, could you imagine doing that on a date?
I would just be like, I've got to pee or something. I've got to pee.
It was like to the point where I was like, something's in my eye, gotta go.
Eyelash glue is no joke.
It's no joke.
Yeah. Did you use the clear, like the black kind?
I used the clear.
Yeah, that shit gets in there.
It stings. I think it like got in my eye and it's just stinging my eye. I'm just also a very dramatic person. That's something you needed to know about me.
No. I think that it like actually hurts because it's happened to me several times.
Okay, actually, now that we're talking about dates, I guess it's a great transition on if that happened on a date. I really wanted this episode to be a lot about dating and dating in LA because, and also, any city, honestly, that you're in, like some tips about dating and kind of going off what we talked about on the podcast, on your podcast, Making Moves too, about like how to find the perfect boyfriend too.
Go listen.
Okay, so you're single right now, but you're going on dates.
Yeah, well, I mean, I dabble. Like right now I've been like I've been having a great social life and then also been having a great like work life. So I haven't been putting like time and effort towards dates.
It's hard.
Yeah, I dabble.
It's really, really hard to do well at your career, do well socially and go out with your friends and find time to go on dates.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is like, I like to have a start and a finish to things. And like right now I don't want a boyfriend. So it's like hard to be like, Taylor, go on dates.
Right.
Because it's like, I don't want a boyfriend. And like, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Totally. And for me, sometimes I'm like, well, when I was single, I like didn't want to go on dates. First off, I'm like actually awkward. You wouldn't know this about me, but like on a date, I just feel like I'm awkward and I like, don't really want to be in a situation. I have like social anxiety.
That surprises me.
I know, but not sometimes. Like I don't have social anxiety with like you or anyone in this room at all. But like sometimes like going to not the Revolve event that we went to, but like some other Revolve events, absolutely social anxiety. You know what I mean? Or stuff like that. So dates, yes, I have social anxiety. I also don't want to like waste a night of drinking. If I go on a date, I will have to take shots beforehand.
Oh yeah, I usually rip like a shot.
Absolutely,
or two.
Two shots.
Like Casamigos.
Two shots before a date, always. That's actually a great. Not 3 shots. Don't get too drunk. But great hack.
I usually do 1, and that does it for me.
Yeah, it just kind of gets you a little jittery and loose. Okay, how do you meet these guys?
Well, I feel like apps, but like I don't like that. I know.
So much effort.
It's really hard. Yeah, you were telling me you actually have to try, and I'm like,
you do.
Sometimes I'm in the mood. Like I was talking to. Have you had Connor Wood on here yet? Fibula.
I love him. We did have him on. He's the best.
Okay, yeah, he's the best. He was telling me because he worked at Bumble. He was like, on Sundays, that's the most popular day people are on dating apps.
That's cool to know.
Yeah, and because he worked at Bumble, and that's like the most active time, and that's when I'm most active because like everyone has like anxiety and they're like lonely
and they want cuddles.
You want to swipe. Yeah, so that's when I like usually get on dating apps. I feel like everyone loves Hinge here, but like I feel like Hinge is like LinkedIn here.
Do you? Okay.
Like, it's like the LinkedIn of like dating apps. Like, but for me, I'm like not trying to find a boyfriend. So maybe that's like why I don't like it. It's like, if you actually want a boyfriend, Hinge is the move. But I don't know. I want to be set up so badly.
I know. I think that's a great way to meet someone. I really, really do. Like a friend of a friend is a really good way. But at the same time, sometimes like a friend of a friend, you still like know too much about them and you have too many mutual friends.
That is true.
Like for me, when I had one mutual friend with my boyfriend now, like I don't really want to know like everything else. Like I actually like that we weren't in the same friend circle before, because it'd be kind of weird if I was like, if like his friend of a friend was friends with his ex still or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's actually, there's pros and cons to every single situation that I personally think. I do think Hinge is really great. I feel like it's a little oversaturated now. I feel like some of the apps like Bumble and like Hinge, sometimes like they're really good for like a year or two. And then it's like, there's now just so many people on the apps.
Yeah, I also feel like I've heard a lot of my friends finding guys on Locks Club lately.
Ooh, shout out to Austin Kevich, Locks Club.
Yeah, everyone's been like live laughing and loving on.
Can you go on Locks Club if you're not Jewish?
I think so.
Yeah?
I'm like,
It's like for apparently for like Jewish people to meet Jewish people.
Yeah, but then there's this Christian girl.
You're like, hey Jewish boys.
Like, hey Jewish boys, I don't care.
I'm like, hi.
They probably care, honestly. I'm like the blonde, blue-eyed girly.
I'm honestly,
they kick me off.
like honestly, Taylor King, you're not Jewish.
I know, I'm like,
but did you know I'm 29% Jewish?
What?
Yeah, I know. My sister did 23andMe, whatever it's called, and we're 29% Jewish. I actually did know this, fun fact, but sorry, we'll get back to you soon.
No, I love it.
But my great-grandparents had to move away from the Austria-Croatia area right before the Holocaust, so they had to pretend that they were Christian to get over here. So actually, my both sides have a little bit of Jewish in them as well.
Wow.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
Because Jewish can also be an ethnicity, which is one of the only religions,
The more you know.
Please don't cancel me for this. I don't know if I can be canceled.
That's very, no.
Can I be canceled for saying I'm 29% Jewish?
No, I don't know.
You know what?
I'm just on Locks Club vibing.
Everyone is like so sensitive these days. I'm like, have to like protect what I'm saying, but it's the truth. It's what they told me in a statistic, so I don't know.
I love that. You know what? It's so funny. My editor, she's Jewish. I love Jewish people because I feel like they're just way more like outspoken and like fun. That's probably why I'm on Long Club. But she's going on Birthright. You know
Yeah. I'm the last
so
generation that can do it. Like my kids cannot go on Birthright, but I could have gone on Birthright.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like,
crazy.
Should I do it?
Yeah, free trip. Yeah. Anyway, so she's going, and I'm really excited for her. And she's like, because it's so hard to date in LA, she's like, she doesn't kill me for saying this. She's like, I'm actually not leaving out of the LA like group to go to Birthright. I made it out of New York because I feel like the New York Jewish guys are cuter.
Honestly, and like
smart.
Super successful.
Yeah.
Super successful.
I was like, you get your Wall Street man on Birthright.
Yeah, you get it, girl. Get it.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. I feel like that's also, back to dating as well. It's like sometimes you have to put yourselves in those situations where you're like, oh, I'm going to go on this trip to meet a guy. I'm going to go out with my friends to meet a guy.
Yes.
For me, when I went out with my girlfriends, I was a Tasmanian devil, and I never was like I would be, it'd be like 8 o'clock, and I'd be like, I think I'm gonna meet a cute guy tonight. It'd be 10:30 p.m. I'd be hammered, just being a Tasmanian devil, like literally kissing my girlfriends at the bar.
Love it.
No shot for a guy to come up to me. Like, I think people are like, oh, you should meet a guy out. I'm sorry, but when we're as girlfriends going out, it's really hard.
I think also people like us, like I've been told this by guys and by girls, like we're intimidating. Like we just don't care. And like I feel like, especially, it's hard to find because I'm 24, so it's really hard to find guys my age that like, if I'm taking, I don't know, I feel like I'm at a different level of life than like a random 24-year-old dude on Hinge. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Let's actually talk about that too, because I think that's very important. And I know age doesn't scream everything about someone, and you can be 24 and be, in a 40 person's body. Like, you know what I mean? It's not everything. At the same time though, when I was 24, I just turned 28 in October. I'm 28 now. And let me tell you, the difference of dating between 24 and 28 is so vastly different.
Yeah.
Because when you're 24 and you go out with a 28-year-old dude, you're like, damn, this guy's kind of older. And like,
Oh, yeah.
And then when you're 28 it's like, oh, this is normal. I'll go with like a 33-year-old, like it's fine.
Totally.
It's just, the vibes change because the intentions change. And 24-year-old men are not it.
Oh, they aren't there.
They aren't there.
And also, I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna be
love a
honest.
self-aware queen.
Yeah, like Peyton Sarton. She was my
She's
old
also
roommate.
on the show. Everyone
yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah, she was my old roommate, and like, she would always be like, TK, because I would like go on these dates and come back and be like, and then this happened, and then blah, 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 or like, oh my God, I hate him, or like, you know what I mean? She like heard it all. And she would be like, TK, she's like so much older and wiser than I am. Not that much older, but like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, she's just like wiser than I am. She's like, TK, in her like calming voice, your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. So, and 25 was the best year of my life. 24 was the worst year of my life. So she's like, you got time. And I stand by that. I think about it every time that I have a bad moment when I'm 24. I'm like, Peyton says 25 will be the best year.
I couldn't agree with her more. I also will say this. When I was 24, I was also panicking about getting older. Like 22, 23, 24, 25 are like my years of like, oh my God, I'm like losing my young years. And every single year now after 25, I'm not scared of getting older.
Oh.
So I think that has a lot to do with it too, because you figure out yourself so much more.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I didn't meet my current boyfriend now when we were 24. We would have never dated until we got older. I'm saying this like I'm 40. I'm 28.
No, but I think it is true. Like,
it's
also
true.
The age difference between, I have a lot of friends that are like 28, 29, 30, in their 30s. And like, we vibe and have the best time, and like they're some of my best friends, but also like the age difference is quite a bit of an age difference. I feel like in your 20s, like 1 year is a lot of life you've lived.
It is. It absolutely is. Because you change so much, and your goals change. Your dating mind changes. Like so much about your 20s changes constantly. And I also do think that's why it is important to live up your 20s, like, you know, not seeking a boyfriend as much as society tells us to, because we change so much. And then once we do settle down, it's with that right person that we want to be with, because our mind is fully developed, as Peyton said, by 25.
Lit. And I don't know. I just feel like this is how I think. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to go on a date tonight with some guy I met on Hinge, right? I hope, like, I put so much pressure on the date because I'm like, this better be worth my time. This is my own demon and battle that I struggle with. I'm like, this better be worth my time, because right now I'm going on this date and I'm not editing and getting my video up. Literally. That's how I think. And I'm like, this better be worth the amount of money I would have made from uploading this damn video. Because, do you know what I mean?
As you fucking should, by the way.
That's how I think about it.
Like, that's your worth.
That's how I think. I'm like, this better be worth it. And like, also, I live downtown, so like sometimes I'll meet people in West Hollywood or like the West Side or wherever. And that's a bitch of an Uber.
It's a lot of effort.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot of effort.
So, I don't know.
Actually, let's go to that. You Uber there? You don't drive?
Yeah, I usually try an Uber.
Okay. Is it because you are going to drink, or what is
Yeah. I feel like most dates I've Ubered just because, I don't know, I like being able to have the freedom of like, oh, what if we want to meet with friends after? Or like, you just never know.
You never know where the night's going to happen. I kind of agree. I totally agree. The first night I met my boyfriend, I first off didn't know that we were
that's right.
We were going to date, so I literally just had to meet up with me and 6 girls.
See, I like that approach, though. I need to start doing that.
See, I can't go on dates. Like, I can't be there sitting
kind of like an interview
at a dinner table, be like, so what do you do? Where are you from? Like, all those basic questions.
And both of us aren't being real.
No, and we're like sitting across the table from each other. Like, I can't do that. It's like you figure out what you order, and like I literally cannot do that, and I don't think I like really ever did. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, I kind of wish I did put in a little bit more effort into dating.
Really?
Yeah, just because I didn't do it at all. But now that I'm very happily in a relationship, I'm like, okay, it worked out, thank God.
Yeah.
But I do think that effort of going on dates. But I think that there's certain ways you can switch the narrative. You don't have to go on a formal date.
Or on a dinner date.
A dinner date. You can go on coffee. You could go happy hour. I think happy hour, like 5 p.m., relieves so much pressure of a dinner date.
Totally.
Because then if you like the person, you'd be like, yeah, sure, let's grab dinner after this.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's 6:30 p.m. and you have the whole rest of your freaking night.
I also like the idea of like being out somewhere and being like, yeah, you can meet me and my friends at blank. I need to do that more.
It's amazing. And a really good way to do it is like you and your friend should come. You know, it's not so aggressive, and then that way
there's like they have a hotter friend.
Exactly, and then there's other people that you can vibe. Your other friends can vibe with. It's just a better, more organic way.
I would agree. I think that dating in LA is hard. But if you do put the time and effort towards it, like,
yes.
I always say this too, like, someone told me it was like, you have to train your dating muscle, like any other muscle.
Yes.
And no bad date is that bad of a date because it, like, helps you get
back into it.
But yeah, it helps you get to the next one. And also, like, my shitty dates are like have the funniest stories. And like, I get that content, baby content.
Absolutely. I actually want to hear about your funny stories. Yeah. But one last thing, if you are scared to go on a date and you haven't gone on a date in a while, I think the first move is just to start, and then you're going to get dates from there.
Yeah, it's kind of like going to the gym, literally.
Literally. You just have to go on your first date, and then it'll come to you.
Yeah. Exactly. I need to make it more of like a regular scheduled programming. Like I need to be like Thursday night's my date night.
Okay, but I also think that's a little too much. You know what I mean? Do you find it weird? Question. Do you find it weird if a guy is going on like 2-3 dates a week? Because I kind of do.
I think it just, I guess, like I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I feel like if you're trying to find a girlfriend, then maybe, or like what if you don't have friends and you're just trying to find people to like.
But what if you went on a date with a guy on a Thursday night and he's like, oh yeah, I go on dates every Thursday. Would you be like, whoa, it's like a little programmed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that would be a little weird. I feel like I personally can't do that. That's why to me, because I'm an extremist and I'm like I'm not forcing myself to go on them. Like I kind of need to be like, Thursday's my date night. Do you know what I mean? But if someone was like,
in you.
Yeah, but if someone was like, doing that, that's a little weird, I guess.
Kind of weird.
That is true.
I would feel weird if my like person that I was going on a date with was like, oh yeah, I have 2 other dates lined up this week, or like a date next Thursday too, or you know what I mean?
I would agree.
I think it has to be natural, and both people like wanting
That's
to.
so true.
You know what I mean?
I will say it takes a lot for me to like swipe, then actually talk on the app, then get off the app onto the phone, and then get off the phone into real life. Like that takes a lot. And if you're doing that every Thursday, that is weird.
And if you are talking for days or weeks on a dating app, it's not going to work.
Ew, corny, tomato.
Literally though, because it's not going to work, because you are losing that luster of like that first meeting talk, and you also don't know how that other person is speaking. Like,
Yes.
you can't tell the vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not the vibe. I keep saying TikTok references.
Hopefully the listeners know TikTok. No,
I also wanted to say about the Ubering thing is I have had guys, when I do Uber and I like really like them, they'll offer to drive me home.
That's nice.
And I'm like, gentlemen.
That is nice.
And it's kind of hot, and it like gives you more time to like be in the car and just like see what their vibe is. I don't know.
A car ride.
Yeah.
You see what their music taste is. You see if they like to roll down the windows.
What are we putting on?
Are they putting your hand on your knee? Like,
also, like I think the car is a little bit. A car is one of the best places to have serious conversation because it's
I thought you were about to say something else.
No.
Sorry. I really thought that was headed somewhere else.
The car is the best place to unzip your pants. No, I'm kidding. No,
my eyes went. I was like, damn, okay. No, I tend to disagree.
It's the best place to start making out on the freeway. No, I'm kidding. It's the best place to have a serious conversation because it's not that intimate because y'all are both facing forward, and it's like not that intense, like looking into your eyes.
And one person has to be sober because they're driving, so it has to be a little calmer.
Like, y'all are, I don't know, I feel like because you're facing the road, like you can have more of a serious conversation. It's not as like intimate and weird.
I like that.
Even like I've had like deep talks with friends, or like, hey, this bothered me when you did this, like in the car, because it's not as like, I guess, serious.
Right.
Or like, I don't know. I think it's a good spot to have like bring something up because you're stuck too. You're like, hey, can we talk about this for a sec? Like, I feel like it's just a good spot to have a convo.
I completely agree.
Or other things.
If you want to unzip your pants in the passenger seat as well.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can imagine.
I go full call her daddy on her.
We can imagine. Yeah. Okay, I want to hear about your worst dates, because you said like 3 times that you have some bad dates.
I
want to
hear
dating some of your
experiences.
What is your best dating
this
story?
one's my favorite. I like tell it quite a bit, just because I think it's funny. So this guy I met on Hinge, he was like, honestly, on Hinge, he was a catch. Like, he was doing all the things. He was hot, like had like the perfect amount of like different photos. Like one with friends, my favorite dating app photo, which all guys, if you're listening, because I know you have such a male heavy demo. I love when guys have a photo from when they're a guest at a wedding and they're on the dance floor. So it's like the professional. No, it's the professional photo.
Yes.
Guys suck at taking photos. If you have way too many like good photos, red forking flag, ladies. No, if you have the one where you're like,
if you have over 2 shirtless photos or 2 mirror pictures in your dating profile, red flag.
Red forking flag. So if you're like on the dating, or if you're on the dance floor and you like have your like finger guns or something and you're like, mid-dance and you're like kind of have a smile and you're like, look like you're having fun, you're like with friends, and but it's a professional photo from the wedding.
I like that.
That's such a good photo. So I love that photo. I love one with friends. I love one maybe like on the beach or like, I don't know, like.
Not too many friends because we need to see who you are.
Maybe like also, one by yourself.
Yeah, 1 or 2 so you know exactly what that person looks like. But I do think the friends is really good too to see the height difference. Of,
yeah.
Is he tall or short?
Agreed. So anyway, this guy like had it going on. Like I was like, period. He like had this really impressive job. I was like, period. And he was like doing the things right. He was like, okay, I would love to meet you here. Like we weren't talking that long. He was like, want to get drinks? Let's do margs. Like blah, blah, blah. It was like this whole thing. We plan it. I arrive and like, I'm like, okay, he's cute. Like not as cute as in photos, but like he's cute. Yeah. Like, impress me with your personality, whatever. So we're like going, he starts like buying me drinks. We're like literally in the 3rd quarter of the date. And we've had like 2 drinks by now. It's like we're about to get our 3rd. Like that's a lot for a date.
That's like having fun.
We're like having fun, vibing, and all of a sudden we like start talking about OnlyFans, like Gen Z people do. And we're like, like OnlyFans, like isn't that crazy? Like we start talking about it, and he was like, yeah. I was like, do you have an account? He's like, no. And we're just talking about like how crazy, like how much money people make on it and whatever. And because it's just like an interesting, juicy topic to talk about,
Absolutely.
Right? So then I would assume he had like looked me up, right? Because like, he probably knew what I did because my Instagram's attached, like, or, you'd kind of get a vibe.
You looked anyone up before,
right?
Guys do too.
I Googled him.
Right.
And all of a sudden he goes, yeah, like, it's crazy how much influencers make, like how much money they make, but they provide no value to the world.
And you were like.
He says this to me on the date. I'm literally like, I'm sorry, what? Like my margarita. I'm like, oh, like, you think that? And he was like, yeah, like he keeps going on and like whatever.
Bashing influencers.
Yeah, he's just like, which like, I get it. Like, I get why influencers get a bad rap sometimes because it's like hilarious.
But also when you're working a corporate job and like that, you don't understand the industry the influencers work in.
Yeah. I also am like, dude, you're in LA. Like, do you not have any friends that are like kind of in the entertainment industry? Like, red flag. He starts like bashing them, like saying he was like he was jealous. He was like, they make so much money and they just like provide no value to the world.
And then did you speak up? And you're like, well, I am one.
No, I let him go. I was like, really? You think that? I was like, no way.
Tell me more.
Like, tell me more. And he was just going off and on and on and on and on about it. And I was like, that's so crazy. Like, I'm kind of in that world. And he was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, like, I kind of do that like full time. And then I also work for a really big one. And he was like, oh my God, I'm like so sorry. I have my foot in my mouth. Like,
it's nice he
blah,
said
blah,
sorry.
Blah. Oh. I was at the least.
Okay, yeah. See, this is my problem. I give people way too much of the benefit of the doubt. I'd be like,
I just was turned off.
Yeah. It was your ick.
Oh my God, yeah. And like, here's the thing. I get it. Like, we can make fun of like, it's not like I was like personally offended.
Totally.
But I'm like, the girls that get it. The girls that don't.
Well, also, I think the biggest red flag of this situation is just not realizing who you are. And not in a vain way, like not realizing who you are. No, I mean like, do your research. It clearly says on Hinge like what you do too. It's linked to your profile. If you're gonna go on a date with someone, don't be like, do your research a little bit so you know kind of the things not to say. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Also, I'm like, in my head, it's already hard enough trying to explain to the average Joe that this is a business.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And like, I take this job like very seriously as a business. And it's literally like your own entrepreneur, like your own startup, right? And like you're the face of your own brand or your own product, right? And who knows where I could go with this like little thing that I got going on,
and
right?
And you probably make more money than him.
And I think he was like, jealous. He was like weirdly jealous of like, like, especially females. And I was like, whoa, gross. Like, you're not, I don't know. It just was like to me, as a reflection on him, I was like, oh, you're not secure enough in your own job that you're gonna like bash like some girls for like making their coin on their like, I don't know.
You can't also
I thought it was
date
weird.
someone. No, yeah, you're right. You can't also date someone who doesn't support what you do.
Yeah, I want someone to totally get
makes fun of what you do. That
totally.
I will say this, like my boyfriend actually, when you said red flags, they don't know anyone in the entertainment industry, I'm like, he is so out of it. He doesn't know fucking.
Which is okay.
Like any influencer. Like he just doesn't know, like he even doesn't even really realize, like he knows what OnlyFans is, but I think only because like me and like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
He's really out of it. So it's okay if you don't know anyone.
Yes, no, it is.
But I will say this, he took my job seriously. When I told him what I did, he was like, whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, see, this guy didn't.
And so that's the difference of like, you know, you have to respect what the other person does as a job.
Yeah, and like he was totally like in corporate, like he was in the math and sciences world.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was in like the creative entertainment world.
Very different.
And like I actually like guys that aren't in my world, which is awesome. And I agree, like they don't have to know, you know, entertainment shit. But I think there was just lacking like this mutual level of respect that I expect from like a partner.
Exactly.
Or like someone I want to like dabble with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it was so funny because like after the date, like I like kind of wrapped it up after that. I was like, okay, like I gotta go, whatever. He's like, do you wanna come hang? Or like come over, come hang, whatever. I was like, no. And I went home and then he like texted me. He was like, that was so fun. Like it was so nice meeting you. Like, can we go on a second date? I was like, no.
Well, that's nice. How do you tell someone no though? How do you what do you say?
I just didn't respond.
TK.
I know, it's not about.
Don't take her advice.
Don't take my advice.
I would probably just actually. Oh my god, I definitely didn't reply to people. But
I think
fine.
like also it's not that bad if you go on one date and then you just don't reply. Like that means I'm not interested in my head.
If you go on like 4 dates and then you stop replying,
then be like, hey, I actually wasn't feeling a spark. Yada yada yada.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. What happens if you want to go on a date with someone and like say like you guys follow each other on Instagram or you don't yet or whatever, and or a friend of a friend of a friend, and you want to go on a date with him? Have you ever had that happen?
Bro, all the time.
What do you do?
I am in that right now, where there's like this guy, there's like
DM him.
I have like
DM him.
I have a few guys where I'll like when I'm drunk I like want to text them or I want to FaceTime them. My friends are like no, and I don't know. I just want them so badly to ask me on a date because like for some reason I don't know if it's me being from the Midwest or like being a girl or whatever. I'm like I can't ask him to go on a date. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm waiting for the right opportunity to be like, hey, my friends and I are going here. Do you want to meet us? So I think that's the move for girls because it is weird if I'm like, want to go get drinks or whatever. I think
yes and no. I want to say it's not weird, but I don't think I would have ever done it. So like if I had to like take my own freaking words and I can't be like, oh yeah.
And guys are like, it's not weird. We love it. I'm like, of course you love it because then I do all the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also you just don't want that feeling of like embarrassment if they don't want to. So I totally get why you wouldn't. But honestly, if you don't go for it, you'll never have that. I think the perfect way to ask is like, hey, me and a group of girls are going. What are you doing this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. Like that type of thing with him and his friends.
Absolutely. I even had this like fun event I was going to go to and I like needed a +1 too. So I was like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Just to like see what they were up to.
Yeah.
And then, you know, sometimes I'll be like, you want to come to this? Like I have a cool thing. I think you would like it. Like whatever.
Knowing his interests, it's like if he likes the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I see that there's a Dodgers game. Do you want to go?
Games are like the best days.
The best day. Like think of his favorite sports team or think of stereotypical sports team. Think of like something that he likes or like a beer that he likes. Hey, I heard this brewery is down the street. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you want to check it out. Not something that's like too creepy at the same time, but like something that's like, oh, this guy, like person could be just liking my interest because they're my friend at the same time.
Absolutely. I think that the games are the best. I always say this because you don't have to like talk the whole time like intimately like you're on an interview or dinner, and you can like mutually talk about the game or you can people watch and like it's just more casual and you don't have to get as like crazy dressed up, and I don't know, it's just like I think it's cute.
You can wear whatever you want too, and it's super casual. You want to know what the worst date is though?
What?
Going to a movie.
Oh yeah.
You can't
that's
talk
tough.
and you don't know what to do with like your hands and like do you put it on the other person? Do you cuddle that other person? You can't speak.
I think I know, like, I have a few friends that like movies, but they're way more introverted. So they like being able to be like, to talk about the film afterwards or like before. Whereas I'm like, bro, I don't care about this damn movie.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I'm like, I'll go see this with my friends and like pound some Sour Patch watermelons. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Okay, another question. How do you, if you want to go home with the person or they come home with you afterwards, how do you make that move? Making moves pod.
Ooh. I feel like I kind of let guys lead that.
Okay.
Peyton though, like she'll literally be like, so where are we going? Like she's like.
She is so bold and good at that.
Yeah.
She literally was on this podcast and was like, yeah, so I just like straight up asked him, like, are we hooking up tonight?
And he's like, oh, well, I can't do that. No, I have to guys been like, so like what's the move? Or like, you know what I mean? I'll be like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'll kind of like put them in a, I don't know. I like making people like see what they do. Like I like making people squirm in the boots a little.
Okay.
Especially men. Like it's fun to be like, all right, what are you gonna do about this?
I like that.
You know
I
what
was
I mean?
never like that.
But I feel like it's easier said than done. Like I definitely have to be a little drunk.
Totally.
And muster up some courage.
Are we a hook up on first date, second date, third date type of gal?
I usually try, if I really like the guy, I will try and like wait a while just because like for serious stuff. I don't know. I also try and trust my gut. I do try and trust my instincts. Like I don't have a hard rule, right?
Right.
I think it's okay, but I do think it's not the best to sleep over. I think go home.
Oh, interesting. Okay. My boyfriend and I had a sleepover the first time we met, but he slept at mine.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't, isn't a rule I feel like women need to follow.
There's no rule, and I think it actually takes the power back to the female if you don't have that rule and you do just follow your intuition on what you want to do. I was in the talking stage for like guys for like months. And I literally remember talking to a guy for like 4 months and literally being like, I'm not sleeping with him for like 2 months or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I set those rules for myself and it never worked out. Like, years of doing that. And then finally when I was like, I don't really give a shit anymore. I don't really care to date him. I don't really whatever. I let the rules go and I literally had a sleepover with him the first night I met him, also really drunk and hammered. And our first date was like 4 weeks after we met.
Also, if you enjoy hooking up or having sex or whatever it is, like, dude, have fun. Like, there's no
pressure.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, like, there's this rule, this unspoken rule, like, you gotta make him wait for it or whatever. And it's like, if he wants to, he will, kind of thing.
I completely agree. Yeah. And also, the girl knows. Both of you guys know if it's gonna work or not.
Oh my God.
And if you're questioning it, it's not gonna work.
Also, I think there's a thing about chemistry. Like, you have chemistry with some people and you don't have chemistry with some people. And like, if you do, I find it rare when I have chemistry with someone. So like, I don't care.
I completely agree.
I just remembered something though. I do if I like want to keep things rolling when we're out or whatever. One thing that I have done and it works is one time I was like sitting next to this guy at a bar that I like really had a crush on, and we were obsessed with each other, but we had never said it or anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you felt it.
Yeah. And he was not making like progress. And I was like, bro, I need to throw this dude a bone.
Yeah.
Right? So I like put my hand on his leg. Like I was like, can I tell you a secret? And he's like, I was drunk. He's like, yeah, what? Or whatever. And I was like, I think I have a crush on you. And he literally, like, that was like, I gave him the golden ticket. Like, after that, he was like so bold and like forward and like made the plans. And it felt like I kind of like opened up the door, gave him permission. And I've done that since. And I swear that shit works. They're just like, I kind of have a crush on you. And then if they take it weird, you're like, hee, like I have a silly crush.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Right. And then you just kind of laugh it off at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's so easy to like backtrack on or like
I like that.
backpedal.
And there's some moments where being bold actually does pay off in that sense. It is scary, but I do encourage a little bit of tequila if you want to be bold.
Yeah.
And then you're like, who cares? I was just drunk when I said that.
Yeah. Also, if you just are like, I have a crush on you, like see what they say, and then like hang with your friends, they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And they're like mind blown, and then here they come following you.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that was a great little dating segment, you guys. Hopefully any of these tips help. We are now into the segment of the show called No Filter. And this is
period.
where I ask you a question that you have to answer.
Okay. It's like plead the fifth on Andy Cohen's. Yeah.
And,
but I can't plead the fifth.
You don't really have to answer, but I'd love you to answer.
Okay.
You're really going to be mad at me.
Oh my God, I'm really scared.
Drum roll. Who is the meanest YouTuber?
Oh my God. Fork.
Who is like really not who they say they are?
It's funny because like there isn't anyone that's like red flag in my head.
Right. That's nice. I feel like YouTubers are a lot different than Instagrammers as well, or like, TikTokers, because they are fully putting videos and full vlogs of themselves.
Yeah. Like I will say, like, I feel like I am not as good of a person to ask this to because I've met so many big YouTubers through Alicia.
Right.
People like respect her, so they're going to be nice to me.
You.
Whereas like if I was just like random and by myself, like people would probably be way more of an asshole to me.
Absolutely. It's hard.
I wish I like had like a really bad one.
But what about an Instagrammer that was like, she was actually really mean?
Instagrammers.
Influencers in
Yeah,
general.
I know. I'm trying to think. I
know,
wish
it's
I
really
had a
hard.
bad. Do you have a bad one?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I have people that like weren't the nicest, but they weren't like mean enough for me to like name drop
trash
them.
it. Absolutely. No, I totally get that. I mean, I will say at the end of the day,
I wish
though.
I could answer because I hate when people don't answer.
No, it's totally fine. I feel like half the people never answer my no filter questions
Really?
either because they're too
Wait, do you have
scared.
someone?
Yeah, but I'm not saying it.
Fuck you!
I do.
I will
think,
say, you know what I will say is it's never anything anyone said or what they did. It's the way they made me feel. And I'll never forget the feeling I had, but that's why it's hard to kind of be like, oh, it was blank and they did this.
Exactly.
Because I don't have a story like that, but I will say there's times where I'm like, ooh, didn't like the way I felt there. I forget what they said, but
They
like
made
they
me
kind of
feel
made me feel
smaller.
like shit.
Absolutely.
Oh, I know someone that was, I'm not going to say their name, but I know someone that was forking rude. They just like think they're so cool. They're so not. Like I don't know. I feel like it's always... the people that are rude are always the people that have sophomore energy. Have you ever heard this analogy?
No.
So like sophomores, when you're in high school, are like the meanest people in the school because they just had freshman year and they think they're hot shit now.
You're
right?
so
Seniors
right.
are always the nicest. Even like people in a work setting, like the CEOs and like the founders of the company are always the nicest. It's always the people that like don't like kind of have the tiniest title that are the rudest. Right? And this guy like thinks he's such a sophomore, like energy. Yeah. And he's so rude. And like, it's just, I don't know. I think it's funny because I don't forget it. But what's interesting is like when they ask me for favors now, sometimes I just do it because I'm like, haha, you're asking me for a favor and like, I can actually do this for you.
I always do. I don't know how to say no to favors, by the way.
Like I don't know. Sometimes it's hard. Like, I always do this thing on my podcast too because like I feel like with females being in this industry, like sometimes you just got to embrace your inner white Chad and be like, would he ask for more money? Yes. And I need to ask for more money because we're so emotional and we think about how other people would feel if we ask for more money or we ask for what we deserve or whatever, right? And I don't know. Sometimes I think that like I look at it and I'm like, they're being a business person asking, how cool is it that they're trying to use me now? That means I'm somebody, or I've made something, or I've done something that they haven't. And I just try and look at it like, okay, they're playing the game, like I'll play it back with them.
That's a really positive spin, and I appreciate that a lot because I actually needed that.
It's so hard though.
It's really hard.
Really hard. But
really,
I don't forget.
I got offended almost because I was like, you literally for 4 years were mean to me, and then all of a sudden, you're not?
Or here's another thing that I've almost done. I haven't yet done it yet, but I'm waiting for the right moment when this person comes back and asks me for something ridiculous and I am the only contact they can use or whatever. I want to say this. I want to be like, hey, so-and-so, I can totally do this for you and I'm happy to do it for you. I just want to say, I don't forget when you did A, B, and C. Blah, 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 blah. You really hurt my feelings back in the day. And I still haven't forgotten it, but I do forgive you, and I'd be happy to make this connection for you.
Oh my God,
because
that's mic drop status.
Because they would be like that's so awkward, and they're asking you for a favor, and like you're still gonna do it.
See, why can't I do that though? I hate confrontation. I hate bringing up anything.
If you're not gonna do it, who will? You know what I mean? Someone's got to put them in their place, but you're still being nice and helping them out.
I just need a little bit more of a backbone sometimes.
I think you should try it.
I'm working on it. I swear, you guys.
Try it. Be like, hey, I know that I think you're smart. You're using me for a good reason. But just so you know, I see through this.
And by the way, I just want to say this because I feel like I have like anxiety of talking about people who are mean and like not helping with favors. I do always help. I will always help the next person in line if they are nice or do favors for people who are nice.
Very
or
helpful.
Like I am not, I do not gatekeep any tips or any advice or anything.
She doesn't at all. Anytime I've reached out to you too about something, like asking you for a favor, you're like, send me like 80 million options. You're like so kind.
Because it's just like those certain people you don't forget is only what we're saying.
Yeah. it's like the same type of like mean girl or mean guy in high school that like kind of, it just stung a little.
I agree.
But I think like just like one bad comment, like I get an occasional bad comment every once in a while, and it's like I can either fixate on that and like let that dictate the entire time and effort and work I put into the video or podcast or whatever it is, or I can look at the gazillions of positive comments and like brush that off and like keep moving forward.
Totally. And something like really important to focus on with hate comments as well is like if you are focusing on those hate comments, then you're really not doing justice to all the people who really love you. And so I think that's like, you know what I mean?
And
something to
like talk is cheap.
Yeah, and please, they don't even know who you are if they have a hate comment.
Yeah, like really, it is true though. Talk is so cheap. Like one comment or one thing someone said to you, cheap. Like where's the coin behind that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Okay, last segment we have is called Mood Boosting Mantra. If you had to give one like quote or mantra,
I have such a good one.
Okay,
I love this shit.
I love when someone says that right away. Let's go.
Okay, my dad instilled this into my head. It's a literal poem. I'm going to say the entire thing.
Okay.
The main thing, I've made Alicia and her sister memorize this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like psychotic about it. It goes for anything you're trying to accomplish in life, like this, I go back to this. It's if you think you're beaten, you are. That's the main thing. If you think you're beaten, you are, right? So like you're scared to do SI, swim, search, whatever. If you think you're beaten, you are, okay, right? So let me do the whole thing. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but don't think you can, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out in this world we'll find success begins with the fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind.
Wow. TK, that's really freaking good. And it's so true because if you believe you can do something, you believe it. And it will happen.
You're the biggest cheerleader.
If you don't believe, then it won't happen.
Yes.
It's all a mindset, and like manifestation is a real thing, you guys. And so I love that so freaking much.
And your lowest, darkest times, the only person you can count on rooting for yourself and thinking you can is you.
So
like
true.
You literally, if you think you're beaten, you are.
No one else believes in you more than you.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect place to end.
It's kind of cheesy, but it works.
Okay, where can everyone find you online?
You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at TKJuicyPolls, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Taylor King, and my Making Moves podcast channel on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast.
Okay, I lied. I really want to know why it's TKJuicyPolls.
Okay, I'll give the quick story. So,
1 second, guys.
Yeah. So when I was at FITM and I had no followers, I went home one winter break and they had just came out with polls on Instagram, and I was bored. And of course, like I'm trying to like dabble with men all the time. So I was like posting poll questions, and I noticed that like John Doe, like hottie from hometown, was like voting. You know what I mean? I was like, pizza or cookies? He's like, pizza. I'm like, oh, John Doe likes pizza, period.
Yeah.
Like the next one, I'd be like, soccer or football. You know what I mean? People would vote. Then I was like, let me ask John Doe dating questions because I'm trying to date John Doe, right? So I would be like, when you're in your hometown, do you have a crush on someone? Like I'd be like, yes or no. John Doe's like, yes. I'm like, but yes is me. John Doe.
Me, yes or no?
Yeah. I'm like, do you kiss on the first date? Yes or no? Should you pay on the first date? Yes or no? Would you rather go here or here? Would you hook up on the first date? Like crazy juicy, like during sex, do you, if they call you daddy, is that a turn off? Like literally like random shit. I would do that. And that's literally how I gained my following with like a bunch of other things, but polls, like juicy poll questions.
Love that.
And people love voting in them.
Can I just say I do too? It's like the weirdest thing. I don't even know why I care so much to vote.
Fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
I also love to press it and see what other people think.
I know.
I'm like, ooh, yes.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that I, like, back in the day, it was more fun when I knew everyone that followed me, because I'd be like, oh my God, like, hottie from camp voted this. Do you know what I mean? Or like, so-and-so from who I met at, like, my ex-boyfriends, whatever. Like, it was just really fun. But now it's even more fun because you get, like, a big statistic, and that's kind of how I developed Juicy Polls.
And they're so freaking entertaining. Yeah. So thank you so much to TKJuicyPolls for being on Austin AF. Make sure to go check it out. Rate and review,
Katie's.
Comment, subscribe, do all the things. I love you guys. See you guys next week.
Thank you.